one night we just went into an argument and he shut down, stonewalled me totally and said I had enough. And he said, you have lost your rights to be my wife, and now I lost my rights to become your husband. And it was so painful. And so I looked at YouTube videos on how to fix it. So they just said, no contact, that's it. He will miss you. But that doesn't really work because they don't. And it just, there's a confirmation bias there that will just worsen when you do no contact. And I didn't realize that I was so confused in November, December, January. I was so confused of what to do. So depressed and just crying, victimizing.
She just felt like I just didn't understand her. I couldn't process or interpret like what she was feeling, and it made me feel pretty insecure and inadequate as a partner. It came from maybe an arrogance, that in a belief that like my partner would always love me unconditionally. Well, not that she loves me, but it's like I had this arrogance that like it doesn't matter what I do, like she'll always love me. And because I had that mindset, it made her feel awful. Like it created this environment where like the one life that she has, she's living it with a person who like doesn't think that like she's the most special person in the world. And if I was living with someone like that, like that would be awful.
Pretty much was told, it's done, like I'm out. And so, as a person, you tend to hold on to and want to do everything that you can to fix that situation. Like you get desperate, you text, you call, you reach out. I mean, I thought even like almost like driving there just to meet up. But it's like you realize that the more you reach out, the more further away they become. The more that you try to grapple onto that situation at that time, the more it creates this sort of like almost like I'm a predator about to enter the space and recapture this person. So the stonewalling was pretty bad. And so when I was faced with stonewalling, what happens is you're trying to break through that space and trying to recreate that mechanism that you think would be helpful in this situation. And I thought it would be helpful. But in actual fact, that's what caused the problem in the first place, was this lack of space, the lack of ability for someone, myself, her, to process what we're going through, to actually find solutions. Because I would jump right back in there and go, no, you're wrong.
That was the lowest point in my life. I went to the dark. In my darkest phase, I was like, can I just leave this earth? Can I just go? And when he did that to me, I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I was doing to him before. And my reaction was that I was such a victim. Like, why would I do that? It's torture.
It was like I'm in a sci-fi movie and I'm sending messages into outer space, and I won't hear back from the person that I'm trying to talk to like a couple of days later. It's a very weird experience. I was flying in an airplane 4,000 miles away from my wife after, things weren't working out. I'm like, there's no way that like I could fix this, but just communicating and talking to other people, I realized like that's not even bad at all. Like, like there's just everything, the processes to change are the same regardless of the circumstances.
The situation was so tangled that it was almost impossible to unravel it with a text message. It was impossible to unravel it with just visiting and saying a few lines. Like there was no way that text messages and a couple of lines was going to solve this. Like that's how I felt. And I felt honestly like out of my depth.
I remember I was sitting in our only couples counseling therapy that my spouse would agree to. This was after she told me she was done. And I realized, like, in that moment that what I'm going through, I have no idea how I got here. And I could create a relationship in the future and I would end back in the same position like 10 years from now.
I know how to be good, but like there's something missing. And I found it in your program, like the bulletproof vest and untethering and killing the fundamental attribution error. That's like the biggest, and finding the state of consciousness. These principles collectively are the biggest like principles that enlighten me on how to become better.
It honestly felt overwhelming. It felt like this is quite a lot to take on. But the more that I started to apply it, the more that I started to reiterate it, the more that I started to practice it, the more it became genuine within me.
You just have to be consistent. And because you know the principles work, you don't stop until you melt that ice.
It's as if brick by brick, I was able to take down that wall.
I really love who I'm becoming, and like I just feel so much better, and I want to keep pushing myself. And I just feel like I know I'm going to be okay regardless of what happens. Like I want this thing, but like I am really happy right now. Actually, I do enjoy my life. I do enjoy the little things.
It's great now. We're like girlfriend boyfriend again. And I was like, why are you so quiet? And then he was like, I'm just remembering all the memories we had and stuff like that. And I said, that's exactly what I'm feeling.
The strongest bonds are forged in fire, are forged in difficult moments. But that can only happen when you have the right frameworks, the right tools to be able to like turn the negatives into positives. Because you can also see a lot of relationships who break down because of problems instead of they get rebuilt despite the problems, right? So I want people to listening to this to just understand that reconciliation is not the goal. The goal is, can you create this anti-fragile relationship where it can thrive no matter what? The thriving relationship. If you can do that, the outcome of reconciliation is a guaranteed.
I enjoy talking with people in the Facebook group. I enjoy learning the program. I enjoy the spontaneous conversations that I have with people at work or in my social life. And like when they feel understood, that look on their face is like one of the most incredible feelings I've ever had. If you can just listen to someone and articulate deeper than what they realized they were feeling in themselves, and there's this, and you're not even giving advice, you're just like, is this what you're going through? And you break it down in an analogy or a feeling, that there's this moment where they just like exhale and they just feel like this relief, like it's like years of like pent up feelings that they've had.
I'm getting the literacy and the ability to lean into those resistances. I look at problems now with a bit of joy and excitement. I'm going like, yes, here's a difficult conversation. Yes, here's a problem. Let's dance through this. Let's actually embrace this situation. Nothing's negative unless you make it negative. And so I look at it now and I'm going, there is something here. This is going to be an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to take advantage of this for the best way forward, rather than just feeling victim to it and blaming people, blaming others, blaming myself.
Realizing that like I want my partner back, but I know I'm going to be happy and I'm going to make the people in my life happy. That is an incredibly powerful experience and feeling to have. To have that self-worth. Yeah, that is a beautiful thing.
I can talk about all of these difficult situations that I went through in the past with a smile now, you know, because I look at it as like, that's a learning point for me now.
We're trapped in our minds a bit. And when there's someone outside of us who can like articulate what we're going through better than even we understand, that is a miracle in and of itself.
Guys, those people you just saw, they weren't special. They were hurting, confused, ready to quit, just like you may be right now. But they didn't give up, neither should you. And the first step, our free masterclass. This is where I'll show you the actual process that I've shown thousands of my clients to take them from very dire situations to where they are today, when mainstream advice and a lot of other coaches often have left them for dead. So guys, I've made it my life's mission for the last 10 years to cut through so much of this bullshit, because I was one of those guys who believed that same bullshit. So if you're ready to stop screwing around in the kiddie pool and bullshit advice, click the link, watch the masterclass. At the end of the masterclass, if you want to apply for the program, I'll give you the instructions to do so. And I'm so excited to see more of you join my mission to cut through the BS and make marriages great again.